Good day and welcome to Boone in the Woods and in the Home, your weekly escape into the realms of hunting, home decor, and heart-led living. Here, we're all about the thrill of the hunt, the joy of transforming the ordinary into extraordinary through upcycling, and the journey of integrating our faith into every aspect of our lives.
I'm Nathaniel, alongside of my wife, Lisa. Together, we are the owners and operators of Boone in the Woods, a hunting farm property management venture nestled in the heart of Western Kentucky. We're passionate about nurturing the land through custom crafted food plots and mineral mixes designed not just to attract, but to sustain the wildlife that roams our clients' properties. Dive deeper into our world at boonepodcast.com.
But that's just one side of the coin. With Lisa Boone Designs, we focus our creativity into giving new life to thrifted finds and cherished items in your home. Through quality artisan products and hands-on tutorials, we empower you to create a space that not only is beautiful, but tells a story, your story. Follow our journey and pick up some tips along the way by connecting with us through the links on our website, boonepodcast.com.
So whether you're here for the tales of the hunt, eager to learn about turning the old into something new, or seeking inspiration to weave faith more deeply into your business and personal life, you're in the right place. Let's embark in this adventure together, aligning our passions with our purpose and our pursuits with our beliefs.
Welcome to Boone in the Woods and in the Home. This week's edition is going to be a little bit different. My husband is interviewing a local business, someone who's in the same industry as he is. Can you guess? I am a custom furniture painter and furniture artist, however you want to call that. I love to paint furniture. I have lots of products that I sell at Now and Then, which is located next door to Country Cupboard. It is 575 McCoy Avenue. And all of my products can be found there. So if you have a piece of furniture that you want to be restored and rejuvenated, then you can bring it here and let me get my hands on it and make you something amazing. The other thing that I want to talk about, and I know this is spur of the moment, last minute, but I literally was sparked by a lovely young lady that came with her dad to record this actual podcast. And she was so lovely, and she really spurred me on and gave me an amazing idea. I am going to be hosting an art camp for kids, spring break, on April 1st, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 9 to 1. So if you're not going anywhere and you need your kid to have something to do and have a fun time, I'm going to be opening this up for ages 8 to 12, limited quantities. Definitely contact me on my Facebook page, Lisa Boone Designs. Without further ado, here is today's podcast.
Sitting here with Jeremy Tate of Deer30, owner and operator. And so, Jeremy, we've actually been acquainted with one another for the last, I'm thinking it's about 4 years.
Every bit of it.
Does that sound about right?
Yep.
So, and it's always been a positive thing anytime that we've been around one another. So
That's right.
and we're kind of in the same business,
Yeah.
I started off property management, and you kind of started off on the mineral mix side of things. So
That's right.
but my first question, I've got a few questions for you if you don't care. First question, Jeremy, is can you share the story behind Deer30? What was the moment that you realized that you wanted to turn your passion for whitetails into a business?
That's it. So, as you mentioned, I saw all the money was in property management. That's why we switched over.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm trying to get your guys.
Oh, I hear you.
We're going to backdoor you. No, that's where all the work is.
That's where all the work is. That's
where all the sweat equity comes in. But no, yeah, so we've been around for 8 years as a business. It was, not to sound cliche, but one of those things that was born of necessity, right? So like standing in line to buy a competitor's product that shall remain nameless, and just said, man, there's got to be a better way to do this, right? Like we're just kind of paying for the label. We're paying for a bunch of salt. Let's see what we can spitball. So put the stuff back on the shelf. We were standing in a long line, just walked out of Rural King that day and started kind of blending some, we're in a big Amish community here. in the Madisonville area. I know you got viewership all over, but kind of some of that, some old cattle farmer recipes, some QDMA recommendations, just kind of rolled all that into one. And about batch 3, we got that where we felt like we wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought, man, something will hit this. And so then it was, what do we do with all this? We got a huge batch. We got 250 pounds, right? Which is kind of a joke now.
It is.
But it's like, man, we've got this whole trough full of stuff. So get on Amazon, order a little heat sealer. And at the time, these shiny Mylar, just hideous looking silver bags. And they would hold about 4 pounds of minerals. So sealed them all up. At this time, I'm just trying to preserve them for us, right? For personal use. We put them out, put some old school trail cams on them, and go pull the cards. This is pre-cell cam days for us, on our budget at least. And so, man, they're hitting it. All right. So then some guys at work here that we got all this extra, and they're like, well, we'll try it. And it's like, sweet. That's more feedback, you know. And still never crossed my mind to make it a business, right? So as everybody, Shark Tank was still in its heyday back then too. And everybody, oh man, you got it. No, we're not doing that. You know, nobody's going to buy this stuff. So here we are.
Here we are.
A couple of people
So
bought
how
it.
many years were you in the process of coming up with your product?
No, that was year 1.
That was year 1.
Yep. So
Boone.
put it out, filed all the legal paperwork with the state of Kentucky, and got an IRS number and made a few bucks. Covered our costs that first year pretty much. But then, well, that summer it was, well, crap. When mineral season's over, we got to have something else. So let's try to mimic a Big and J type product, something with protein, something for a fall attractant. Got that right on about batch 2 and just rolled on.
Well, we kind of investigated your website a little bit. And it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. So some of your products, the mineral mix and the clock stopper feed, it's got some unique things about it. Can you expound? I don't want you to give anything away, but expound a little bit about it,
Yep. So that initial product I was just talking about, first year, that was our fall attractant, right? And we knew it needed to be something that was easy to pour out, backpack size, but slightly bigger than the little 4-pound minerals we had at the time. So it's like, all right, let's do like an 8 or a 10 pounder. So we settled on a 10 pounder, fits in your backpack, but it's a dump and hunt type product, right? It always has been. So you've got molasses in there, you've got various row crop grains. We've got a soybean element, corn element, and really it's pretty idiot proof. Yeah. So you put it up, you climb in your ground blind, super strong, aroma, and it's something they want to eat. So they'll come eat around on that. And if it does happen to rain, I mean, anything grain based doesn't do well with rain.
Right.
But put it in a small bag, make it to where people can only put out a small amount.
Just a small amount.
It's going to disappear pretty quick anyway.
So
with that, inevitably everybody wants more, right? They want a discount. They want more. We want to buy a pallet. So I said, well, we'll start selling a 50-pound bag. And it works great in a trough feeder. But it's a very loose, fine, like if you throw it up in the air, half of it's going to blow away, right? So definitely not spin style feeders, not made for gravity feeders. So inevitably, well, do you guys have a pellet? No, but hold please. So we had somebody actually extrude that exact formula. The labels are exactly the same, but they just extruded it into a pellet. So we sell a lot of those. We encourage people to mix that with corn, half and half. Flows very well through a gravity feeder like a Banks or a Boss Buck. And, some people throw it in their trough feeder as well.
Cool deal.
So
cool deal. So also on your website, you mentioned that there's less salt and more real antler growth. Can you explain the science behind that?
Sure, absolutely. So if you take a core sample of a deer's antler, right, you drill into that bone, that's going to show you everything that's in that, just like a tree, right? It tells a story. So main two, calcium and phosphorus, hands down. So QDMA even recommends roughly a 2-to-1 ratio. So say you've got 20% calcium in your blend, you need roughly 10% phosphorus to mimic what's in that antler, right? But you've got all kinds of, one of my favorite things, and please don't think I'm talking down to people. Like I'm by no means an expert, but people call all the time and they're like, "Why put out trace mineral? What makes yours better?" And I say, man, I'll be honest with you, 10, 15 years ago, I didn't know what trace mineral meant either. Like it's got the word mineral in it. Well, it's trace mineral because there's a trace amount of mineral, right? So you flip it over and it's 99.002% salt. So, but in our blend and in a lot of other, like in a cattle mineral, you have trace minerals. So you've got manganese, magnesium, cobalt, iron. I mean, all down through the list.
Right.
And so by simply removing about half of the salt of some of our high salt competitors, well, you got to fill the rest of it up with something. So let's put some quality ingredients in there.
Exactly.
So we are primarily calcium and phosphorus, and then all those I just listed in decreasing quantities throughout the rest of the blend.
Cool. So with your stuff, this has been my experience. So down the line, I've used everything from Lucky Buck. I've used Deer30 in the beginning of my on some of my clients' farms.
Sure.
And I went ahead and started formulating my own.
Yep.
And it's just a straight mineral. I have found, and I'm guessing that you have too, that different areas, the deer require something a little bit different. So, what they may touch on the south side of the county, the north side may not.
Yeah.
As for, I mean, are you
And
finding?
what's primarily on the south side of the county?
Well, I'm looking at old coal mine ground.
Correct.
So
there's already heavy metals there.
yeah, exactly.
So you get very different results on reclaimed ground
Yep.
versus river bottom ground.
Mm-hmm.
That's just rich, perfect dirt, right?
Yep.
Very different results.
Definitely. In reality, there's not anything that's perfect for the whole plate.
No, that's it. You can put a trophy rock out right here, downtown.
Exactly.
You'll get some neighborhood deer show up.
It's crazy. It's crazy, but I love it. I love it. The sustainability of hunting. How are you contributing? You're putting more quality ingredients in your product. Even if you go into your food plot seed, same difference there. You're using a higher quality seed.
We are. We're trying to make Isaac a rich man.
There you go. I am.
We now and on a more personal level, like it's rewarding to me to I just, when we were planning out our night, I told her, I was like, you want to go do a podcast with Dad? So just getting my kids involved. They love to go to the NWTF show every year. So, but as far as giving back to, say, the state of Kentucky or our herd, right? These are our deer. Man, we could spend an hour on CWD.
Yep.
So that's a hot button topic right now. I know you've got your finger on the pulse of that, but it's like these young kids say online, like, make it make sense, right? I cannot wrap my head around, why are we not feeding these deer, And I mean, thankfully they haven't taken away our wintertime feeding when they're the most run down. But I just don't get one case in Ballard County impacting this entire.
I totally agree with that 100%.
And I go ahead.
I would tell you this. I've worked with some biologists with the state the last couple of months doing a turkey project. I don't know if you know anything about that turkey project or not.
I didn't know you were involved in it.
So
nice.
On a couple of different farms that they've been trapping.
Yep.
And banding. So in our conversations, that has come up.
Well, sure.
And so right now, according to what I was told, they're not looking at taking away.
That's good.
That is good. You can go as deep into that as you want to.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, as long as we're putting out good food plots, they've got that's sustaining them. That's what counts.
That's it.
So, food plot versus bait station, I don't see, in reality, I don't see a lot of difference as far as the deer eating off of.
Sure.
It's the same.
And honestly, that's my biggest fear. I can live with the summertime. I can. And I fully understand don't feed during turkey season, right? But just don't take it away during the winter.
Right.
And they're run down from the rut. Like, we feed probably harder for our clients during that time period because they got nothing else to eat. I mean,
Right.
they got some woody browse, and that's about it.
This year we really had a great acorn
Mm-hmm.
crop, so that's going to be a plus.
Yep.
That kind of hurt our hunting, I think, a little bit,
Oh, scattered out everywhere.
depending on how people hunted. I myself, I like to hunt the woods a lot,
Yeah.
but there's those that are just strictly field hunters.
Yep.
But I think we're going to see a big increase in our deer, the health. I think we're going to see a big increase in our our right development.
Oh, it's
as
a bumper
well.
crop.
You know,
So much
so
protein. Yep.
it's going to be awesome.
Especially compared to the previous year, that
Yeah.
horrible drought.
Exactly. Well, we actually the last 2 years have been kind of
Iffy.
iffy
Yeah.
on
Depends.
water.
Very localized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So down there in Caldwell 2 years ago, down there at Tad's, it was like 91 days or something without rain.
That's crazy.
But I mean, just in that little valley there. But the lake would get some, and you get a little shower up this way. But 91 days.
Yeah, that's crazy. So with Deer30, where do you see Deer30 at in the next 5 years?
Yeah. So our biggest hurdle, I would say, is national retail. So we do a lot online, we do a lot direct, and we do a lot through our clients' farms. We're still very regional, right? So we've spent a lot of money on marketing, a lot of time with people that have already made it and sold their businesses. So just trying to maybe capture a little bit from one of them and a little bit from another, and roll all that into one. So,
Well, that's something else I was going to ask you about. Some of the people that has had an influence on you and your business.
sure.
And as far as
Man,
I mean, I don't know if you can name names. If
that's
you
45 minutes right there.
Is it right there? Oh,
Obviously, without a doubt, my family. Just being patient, and I travel a lot. Increasingly as it goes on, right? For trade shows, this, that, and the other, deliveries. But if you look at our bag, obviously Harold and David, they did it. They were some of the pioneers to do that. And just listening to some of their stories, and not thinking about what am I going to say next, not just listening. Like, and that's hard. That's hard for me and everybody, my kids in this culture, but just trying to soak up some of that. And just the way they live life, it's just, I'm sure there was a time, but man, Harold would sit here and talk to you for 2 hours, and just not a care in the world. But the way they approach their business with integrity, and I mean, they got backdoored on some stuff, and it's when you have a good idea, and we're by no means the first to do it, but there's still, you got to watch your back no matter what. And that's,
when you look at the market that there is right now, I mean, I can't tell you how many people and products are. I mean, there's no telling.
That's it. And so back to that national retail in a full circle here. We're competing for shelf space that, like, you walk in a store, there's not just 3 feet open that you and I could try to get our mineral in. By putting our stuff on that shelf, you got to bump one of the big 5 brands out. So you really got to have a receptive buyer that's like, man, they're not going to like that too much, but we'll give you a shot, and you better make that shot count, right? So,
Exactly.
but no, man, I could run the list. Brad Thomas he's done a lot. He's with a company called Trees and Camo, from website to bag design. Just huge apparel. Alan Bowman's been amazing.
I like the trees and camo. I use that myself. So
it's a Kentucky company.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
We like to keep it local.
Well, definitely. So during your building Deer30, What about challenges that you faced, other than, of course, you just mentioned, shelf space. Of course,
Sure.
that's a challenge within itself. Is there anything
Um,
that stands out?
Decision making. My partner Damon Cheatham is an unbelievable soundboard. We bounce ideas off each other daily. He's probably called me while we've been doing this. We're just very open communication. What we should do on this property.
Mm-hmm.
What should our next product be? Um, and just kind of taking a breath and bouncing stuff off each other instead of just diving into the next thing that might sound good
Right.
or somebody might throw our way. Just kind of trying to feel through that because you always want to come out with new product,
Definitely.
but you can only screw up a couple in a row before
Mhm.
you've spent a bunch of money going this direction, and that might not have been the right direction.
Exactly.
So
I'm sure you're like me. Testing is of utmost importance to
that's
make
it.
sure that you got the right stuff together.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work this year, then field test it this year, and if it's meant to be, we'll roll it out next year.
Mm-hmm.
But you just can't rush into something
Exactly.
and expect to still be able to say this is the best thing we could come up with,
Yeah.
right?
And again, there's so many different companies out there that's doing the same thing that we're doing.
Sure.
But we may just manipulate the varieties that we're using in food plot seed a little bit different than they do.
That's it.
And the same with mineral. You've got your own spin on it. I've got my own spin on it.
Right.
Not to say that mine doesn't work, yours doesn't work.
That's it.
Yours may work in places mine don't, and I'm sure of it.
Yep.
So beyond the business, what does hunting mean to you personally?
Well, that has changed. That has changed a lot. So I have two kids now, two girls. They're 9 and 7. My oldest killed her first turkey last year in Tennessee, behind a fan. Well, it was unreal. So we started in a blind. Didn't work out. Might have missed. We get behind this fan and just go at these two jakes, and she made it happen. I'm holding the fan, and it's got the little J hook. Her barrel's resting there, and I'm tore up. Just
That
like
is awesome.
Oh, it was wild. She's killed a doe. She's big into it. So that's my primary focus now. Plus, Tad Lad, West Kentucky whitetails. I've been down there for the last 2 years, so I see a lot of deer die. I clean a lot of deer, drag a lot of deer out of the woods, but I turkey hunt.
You turkey hunt?
The deer to me is it's the whole process, right?
Mhm.
You're the same as me. You love tractor time. You love
Mm-hmm.
the whole process. But as far as physical hunting hours, I'm not in a tree stand much.
And that's me. I have found, but I still enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I
Absolutely.
enjoy being on the tractor. I enjoy going out. We've still got old cell cam, that we have to pull cards on.
Yep.
You know, uh, and that's all part of it. Putting the stands up, figuring out where to put the stands. Where that
That's
deer
it.
is going to come in at. And
That's it.
so
And
it's just
that's the rewarding part, whether it's your kid or a family member, your nephew,
Yep.
or a
a
client.
client. I had a client come in this past year, new client, and he was able to bring both his boys. One was 13, one was 15, and they both killed their first deer this year.
How
And
you
that's
beat
probably
that?
the most rewarding.
Yeah.
Came in late, and I put him out some quick plots. I say quick,
Mm-hmm.
but just went out there and just small mini plots basically,
Yep.
and it done what we needed it to do.
That's right.
And those boys, you know what they were on cloud nine.
Never.
They never hunted before,
Wow.
and they're so excited. He took the 13-year-old. He never quit talking about it once they went home, and they were able to go from within probably about a month. They went to New Mexico, and the young man wound up and killed his first cougar, mountain lion.
How you top that?
So that's pretty awesome. But
That's awesome. I mean, that is. It's like I said, without sounding cliche, that's what it's all about.
It is.
That just doing the whole process, and then whether it's you or somebody else reaping the benefits.
Mm-hmm. So how do you approach your off season as both a hunter and a business owner? Because if you're like me, deer season never stops.
I tell my wife December's pretty much it. Like we'll do the holidays. I mean, heck, our muzzleloaders mid-December.
Mhm.
So I mean, really, it's Christmas, a little bit of New Year's, and then in January, I mean, the ATA shows January 10th, and then you're rolling right into trade show season, and so that's it. A couple weeks for Christmas, and
So
then
you're actually sponsoring an expo this year, correct?
we are. You know somebody that's heavily involved in that?
I know somebody that might have a little bit goings on there, so that's pretty cool. So
We're excited to see something in this area that has been needed for a long time, and I feel like we're finally to a point where we can support that.
I think it'll be awesome.
Yep.
I think it'll be great. I'm very happy that you guys are sponsoring that
Yeah.
expo. And
Appreciate
for
it.
anybody listening, it's the Hopkins County Sportsmen and Sportswomen's Club here in Hopkins County, and I think it's a good thing. We just got involved in it this year, and so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna have a small booth there at the expo. Just
Perfect.
try to test the waters,
That's right.
and so that's big for me.
Yeah, and I mean the timing's everything with these trade shows. So you've got to find, that being end of summer rolling right into our velvet, I think it's going to hit perfect because, you know, the May ones, I think the May ones are tough because everybody's just ready to hit the lake and,
Yep.
trade. I think you have a lot more luck in February and March on trade shows, and then the weather gets nice, turkey season.
Everybody's busy, summertime, like you
And
said.
then the mid-summer, like we're doing the World Deer Expo this summer in Birmingham. So that's mid-July. It's blazing hot down south. So that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you can pull some people because it's the World Deer Expo.
Right.
But I think Loman and whoever else is involved in the planning. I don't know if Lisa was in on the ground level, but
Not well. He started it off pretty much. We got involved, I don't know, a couple months ago.
I got you.
Um,
That's awesome.
so she's been helping with the marketing.
Yeah, that's great.
You know,
I think it's perfect being in August.
I think it'll be good. I mean,
And I mean, that's like we talked about earlier. That's going to be the first few days that you can feed again, right? So everybody's going to be fired up to get
that's correct.
back in the woods, and we got to get some stuff out before Velvet, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So
Exactly right.
should be good.
So, can I ask you this in a sense? You talked about Harold Knight and whatnot. So, have there been any surprises as far as or unexpected collaborations or partnerships that's emerged with Deer30?
Oh yeah, completely. It's funny, man. We've met so many good people, and it is a snowball effect. You meet one good person, well, guess what? They know 12 more, and you end up meeting them. So we have some unbelievable friends in Tennessee that are just, I would say, highly connected, but you almost have to pull that out of them. Like, just people that don't brag about who they know.
And that's good.
But after they get to know you, they go, hey, this person might be able to really help you out. I'm going to make a warm introduction. And so, man, just countless examples of that through the years.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
People that genuinely want to help and don't want anything out of it. It's hard to find these days.
So anybody can find your product on deer30.com,
Deer30mineral.com.
deer30mineral.com.
Yes, sir.
And then, of course, any of the surrounding stores around as far as I know.
Man, that's been tough. COVID kind of killed some of that.
Really?
So that's our mission, is to make it easily accessible to people through whatever means that is, whether that's and I mean, unfortunately, Clark's True Value used to have it, and they just went under, and it's just, man, it's a tough time for everybody.
It has been,
right?
It has been. I never thought that I would have actually launched my business right after COVID, as far as to go full time into it.
Yep.
I mean, technically, I've been doing this for approximately 15 years.
Wow.
Just kind of as a side hustle.
Yep.
And then to go through COVID, and then, well, hey, I'm going to go work, full time for myself,
Yep.
But the thing is, it's worked.